Most of the chocolate you consume starts its life on the trunk of a tropical fruit tree called Theobroma cacao. If you cut into one of these colorful pods, you won't find chocolate. You will find seeds. This flowchart details the exact 7-step process required to turn those raw seeds into a glossy, perfectly tempered chocolate bar. We are going to walk through every stage of this transformation. To replicate this micro-batch process at home, you will need a few basic tools: a wet grinder, an accurate thermometer, raw cacao beans, and sugar. Translating these raw ingredients into a final bar requires you to manage a strict sequence of physical and chemical reactions. Mismanaging the timing or the temperature at any point will cause the entire batch to fail. Step 1 is extraction. You can identify a ripe cacao pod by its color, shifting from green to yellow or red to orange. A fully mature pod will also produce a hollow, rattling sound when shaken, indicating the seeds have detached from the inner husk. In this manual photo, you can see workers processing the harvest. They cut the pod from the tree, crack the heavy shell, and scoop out the wet, white, pulp-covered seeds by hand. Step 2 is fermentation. As outlined in the box method, the wet beans are loaded into wooden boxes lined with banana leaves. They are left to ferment for 5 to 7 days, and workers turn the beans every 48 hours to ensure even aeration. This biological process dictates the final flavor profile. Naturally occurring yeast and bacteria consume the sweet pulp surrounding the seeds. Their activity generates intense heat and highly acidic byproducts like lactic and acetic acid, which penetrate the seeds and alter their internal chemistry. Skipping fermentation leaves you with bitter, astringent, slanty beans. The biological breakdown inside the box is entirely responsible for creating the chemical precursors to true chocolate flavor. Step 3 is drying. The fermented beans contain up to 55% moisture, which must be stabilized. By spreading them in a thin layer under the sun for 7 to 10 days, the moisture content drops to a maximum of 6%. You can physically verify the beans are dry by squeezing a fistful of them. If the moisture level is correct, they will produce a sharp, characteristic cracking sound in your hand. Step 4 is roasting. Heating the dried beans in an oven for 20 to 30 minutes extracts the aroma precursors formed during fermentation. You will know they are finished when the room smells distinctly of chocolate and the outer shells audibly pop. Step 5 is winnowing. You crush the roasted beans and apply steady airflow. The wind blows away the lightweight outer shell, called the testa, leaving behind the heavy, valuable core known as the nib. This isolation is critical. Any microscopic trace of the shell left in the batch will introduce a harsh, gritty texture and ruin the physical structure of the final bar. Step 6 is conching. We combine our isolated nibs, granulated sugar, and a small amount of extra cocoa butter in a motorized wet grinder. This image sequence tracks the physical transformation. Panels A through C show a jammed, granular powder. In D, E, and F, mechanical agitation forces the particles into heavy clumps. In G, adding a chemical dispersant reduces friction, allowing the solid to yield into the smooth, flowing liquid seen in panel H. Conching solves a structural physics problem. You are taking an inhomogeneous mixture of solid fat, sugar, and cocoa, and mechanically eliminating the friction until it becomes a suspension. Step 7 is tempering. In this photo, the chef cools the liquid chocolate by actively working it across a cold marble slab, carefully dropping the temperature while keeping the mass in constant motion. At a microscopic level, the fat molecules inside cocoa butter rest in a chaotic, messy state. Dropping the temperature to a highly specific thermal target forces these scattered crystals to align and locks them into a rigid grid. If you fail to hit these specific temperatures, you produce a broken temper. The fat crystals remain unaligned, resulting in a dull, crumbly block of chocolate covered in unappetizing white streaks of fat bloom. Once aligned, the liquid is poured directly into polycarbonate molds and placed in a 4°C refrigerator to rapidly set the crystalline structure. Perfecting this thermal alignment allows the chocolate to hold its shape at room temperature. It separates amateur melting pastes from professional, shelf-stable candy bars. After cooling, the rigid chocolate shrinks slightly away from the edges of the polycarbonate mold, allowing you to pop the finished bar out in one clean piece. The surface of the bar will feature a perfectly smooth, mirror-like gloss. This visual shine is the immediate physical proof that your microscopic fat crystals aligned properly. The ultimate test is auditory. Bending the chocolate yields a sharp, resonant snap, confirming the dense internal structure holds firm under pressure. You have successfully managed the biological decay, the moisture extraction, the friction, and the thermal properties of a raw tree seed to yield a finished chocolate bar. Check the description below for links to the microbatch gear needed to begin your own harvest.